a demonstration of how those things work in what I'll call real life or an almost real life situation, and kind of share with some information for you so that you can understand, get a good feel of how the software works. As always, if you have some questions, we'll ask you to just type it in on the chat scenario, and we'll try to address those. We'll also have some time for questions at the end, and we'll be able to help you in a number of different ways, however you'd like to. So with that, there are a few people that are logged on, and I'm sure there's going to be a couple more that log on as we get going, but we'll just get started. And this should take somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 to 55 minutes. So hopefully we'll still get you out with a little time to grab a quick lunch if that's part of your goal today. So if you will, our first slide is just a quick overview of who Affiliated Resource Group is. Affiliated Resource Group is a mid-market provider of CRM and technology services. We're based in Columbus. We work with clients. In our CRM practice, actually, we have clients across the country, and we've done approximately, I think we're approaching 90 different implementations of CRM system, and as a company, we've been in business for more than 21 years. Our Microsoft Dynamics team, there are 10 people on the team. All of them are Microsoft certified. All of them are affiliated employees. And I think another thing that's interesting is that we have won awards from Microsoft. We have been awarded the U.S. Central Region Partner of the Year twice for our CRM efforts. So I think from a good perspective as an organization, we're doing pretty well. If we look at CRM, Microsoft Dynamics CRM is a fully featured platform to help your organization drive revenue, improve your customer loyalty, enhance your communications with your customers and prospects, and is a platform that will allow you to increase your business productivity. If you notice on the top end there, the Microsoft solution is really designed to help you better interact with your customers and prospects where they want it, when they want it. And the 5 areas that we think that we want to talk about today, because there's more than 5, but the 5 we want to talk about today really involve the idea of how do we help your sales team increase their productivity, how the concept of a guided sales process that is a cornerstone of the Dynamics opportunity management function can help not only your sales team, but your sales management and your company as a whole improve consistency and improve reliability. The concept of getting access to real-time information. What's going on in my accounts? What's going on with various things in the business? How am I doing against my goals? We'll talk a little bit about personal measurable marketing and the value of that in helping to drive your business. And then the last thing we'll talk about is that, oh, my slide looks a little funny there, but flexible familiar access. One of the things that helps why Dynamics CRM is something that can help drive your business is its integration with Outlook and its access from multiple devices, your workstation, a tablet, a mobile phone. So it gives you the ability to do your activities, your business, anywhere. And the reality of life is today, we do business more than just sitting at our desks or more than just directly in front of a customer at their facility. And having that access, having that ability to access your information, make notes, or update your information in a fairly simple way are very important. So those are kind of the 5 things we're going to talk about. I would like to take a quick second and just touch on the various pieces of the CRM software itself so that everybody understands. One of the things we're not going to spend a lot of time on is the customer service area. We'll talk briefly on that in the overview. But realistically, we've just kind of identified these 5 steps, and we think they're important for most organizations. Well, as I touched on, the Microsoft Dynamics CRM has the ability to help you accomplish from a sales perspective the things that you need to do. Track your leads, track your opportunities, interact with your customers, do the things that you need to do. And as you can see here, you have the ability to run this application from your workstation all the way down to your iPhone. an Android or a Windows phone if you have those. The system works pretty much the same either way. Obviously on the phones, the features in that are a little, how do I say this, they're a little simplified. You don't have all of the graphics that you do, but you have access to all the information you need to do your job. From a sales management perspective, ability to see things in a dashboard perspective, visualize, be able to look very quickly and drill down and see what's going on in the business, what's going on in an individual opportunity, what's going on in a territory for a salesperson, an inside salesperson, what's going on with a customer. Very quick, very easy access, and we'll show you some of that here in a few minutes, how that works and the benefit of that to the business and how that can drive. It also is a scenario that with using these features, it helps you from an idea of with your more accurate forecasting and better pipeline management, because we'll talk about it, but the reality is that visualization and consistency help drive those accuracy in a form of forecasting and your pipeline management capabilities. From a marketing perspective, I think the key feature here is that Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and there are a couple of solutions that add on to that, can provide you with a full-featured marketing automation capability to help you educate and inform your prospects and customers in terms of helping them with their buying cycle. There are a number of studies out today that say that prospects don't engage your sales team until they're well into the buy cycle. Some say 40, some say 50, some say even 60% through their buying cycle before they interact with your sales team today. Having the tools in place to help understand what your prospects and customers may be interested in and start to provide that information to them, and then being able to track what they're leading into and what they're tracking on is huge. We also have the ability with Dynamics CRM to automate your lead qualification capability so that we can pass more valuable leads on to your sales team, as well as then be able to integrate directly with the sales process so that we can track the performance of those leads. And we'll show you a little bit of that in a few minutes as well. And then lastly, the ability to be able to do a fully functioning case management customer support scenario. So that if you think about this, if you have a situation where you have people who are tracking user or customer issues where someone is going to call and say, I lost something, or something didn't get delivered, or I need to find out about tickets, or I'm interested in this sort of information, Dynamics CRM has a capability that has a fully featured way to take that information, track that information, move it through the system with workflows and productivity tools to escalation points so that you as a user can actually get a better response and help your customers, your prospects feel better about what needs to go on. Full tracking, and in terms of that, there's also a wonderful knowledge base in one of the pieces that are just being released in the new release to help be able to provide additional linkage and information to the people who are taking calls so that they have a better capability of supporting their customers. So that is the Microsoft Dynamics software piece in a quick overview. What we'd like to do now is switch over and actually do a demonstration of how those 5 things would be utilized throughout the software in its own right. Are there any questions or comments or thoughts that we might have that we can answer for you based on that? Okay. Well then, Stephen, let's jump right into the demonstration. If you use Outlook today as a part of your normal activities, you'll notice that this screen is your standard Outlook screen that comes up in every day when you look at your email. Now you might have a calendar and some tasks on the right-hand side. You might adjust your paint, but the basic Outlook screen looks very much like this in terms of where it is. Well, just so you're aware, we're actually integrated directly with CRM from this. So if I look at my email, I have an email from Mike Moran, and I'm Stephen today. So if I have an email from Mike Moran, that actually says I ran into one of our customers last night. I want to tag this because I think it's key, because Mike's telling me some information about this customer. I can very quickly tag this one call. I open up my email, and if you notice up in the upper ribbon area, there's a field called Track and Set Regarding. If I click this, it'll actually show me that I want to click it to the customer. So I click on the customer. And if you notice down at the bottom of the email now, information about that customer has come up. If I save and close the email, if you notice on the left-hand side, it's now showing a couple people over there, which means this is being tracked in CRM. So again, most sales folks, when they come in the first thing in the morning, they want to look at their email and see what's come on board, see what's come in overnight, see what they missed. I've got an opportunity to look. I can track it to CRM, and I know where I'm at. The next thing I typically do as a salesperson, and I was a salesperson for a long time, so I still do these things in this manner, is I go down and I look at my calendar. And I want to know what I've got going on this week. And because we want to make sure that you see what we're talking about, we just put in one calendar event. But my point is as you see that I've got an appointment here today at 1 o'clock to go see Alpine Ski. So I'm going to the purpose of the meeting is to review the quote. So if I bring up the appointment, what the heck am I going to do? If you notice, I have an agenda for my meeting. Again, as a salesperson, to me, I always put my agendas in my meetings, and the value for that is that then not only does the customer understand what we're going to go over, but I also then have my quick opportunity that at a finger's touch, I know what we're supposed to review, so that before I go into the meeting, I pull it up on my phone, I see what we're going to do, and I can go through and do my reviews. In this case, we're going to talk about an opportunity called a product JJ202. We're going to review the quote. Well, I'm interested in looking at that, and right here from the appointment, I can go over and I can open up the opportunity. And I can see what's going on with this opportunity. I can see what started off there in the description. How did it become an opportunity? What are they interested in? Where is it going to go? I can actually then see the activities that I've done up to this point to refresh my memory of what's gone on in terms of where things are. And if I wanted to, I could actually click on that review the quote meeting, which is my meeting there that we've just had. I want to see the details. If you notice, the agenda is right there in the CRM system. I entered it once. And it shows up in both places. I can also scroll down and see, well, what is the quote we're going to review? There's my quote. It's attached to the scenario, so that I've actually got all of the information that I need right there. I can see what I'm doing, what I need to do, and where I need to go for the customer. So I'm now prepared for that meeting, and I can go back and do the normal things, the next step on my process. So Stephen, if you'll be kind enough to go to the next screen that I use on a regular basis, which is my activity screen, and we're going to take a look at our activities. We'll take a look at the guided process here in a second. But if we'll go to the activities screen, my activities that I have to do, the salesman dashboard. Okay. Sorry. No problem. And as you can see, Microsoft Dynamics CRM comes with a variety of dashboards. Some of these have graphics. I personally don't necessarily need a whole lot of visualization on my sales dashboard. I want to see the activities that we need to work on. And if you notice, the first group is my activities. The second group is my opportunities. If I look at my activities, I can see the things that I need to do. And in terms of the columns, I have the ability to rank them. You know, this way it's showing in descending order. I have the ability to show what's going on in ascending order as well, so that I can come in and I can see very quickly what I've got to do. So I know that I missed a phone call yesterday that I've got to make, and I also noticed that I have my appointment today at 1 o'clock, and then I've got a phone call, a task that I have to do later on today, and then as I come down to the fourth one, I see, oh, I got a new lead. So when a lead comes in, it is assigned to my activities. I see I've got an activity that I want to follow up on, and I can do what I need to do to get that taken care of. And all of that information we'll show you in just a minute, but my point is, from a sales guy's perspective, it directs you to see very quickly and very easily what's on my task to do for today. If I go down and scroll down just a little bit further, I can actually look at all of my opportunities that I'm working right now, and I can see in a variety of things what's going on, what stage they're in, what they are, the revenue, when the close date is. So as I look at this, I notice that, hey, I have a couple of opportunities there that don't have next contact dates. I should probably do something with those because I'm expecting to close those in 45 days, and I'm just trying to qualify them. Maybe I need to reach out to the customer and ask them some questions about what's going on. Maybe I need to come back through and say, hey, what am I doing? So this, again, from a productivity perspective, this prompts me as a salesperson to remember, hey, I need to have my next contact so that I can continue to move these opportunities forward. So if we will, Stephen, let's go back to JJ202, our opportunity there that we're going to have our meeting today about. And if we look up at the top, there is that ribbon area, and this is called the guided sales process. And the value to the guided sales process to an organization, to a salesperson, is that we can help identify the various sales stages that you go through in order to identify, qualify, and close business. And most every company has a variety of stages. Some are as few as 4. Some could be as many as 8 or 9, depending on which sales process you would like to look at. But within each one of those stages, there are a variety of steps. And Dynamics CRM allows you to tailor those steps and require information at each stage in order to help your sales team know exactly what they need to do, the things that they need to gather, the information they need to be able to help moving this process through. So what this does is this actually helps build consistency in how your sales team sells. It also helps build focus from a sales manager's perspective to be able to very quickly and easily go in to these opportunities and understand where folks are in the sales process. So in this case, if I'm at propose, but I haven't gone back through, if you will, Stephen, could we go back to like the previous stage? If I want to go through and see where we are, I want to make sure, oh, okay, so we have filled in all of the things. I can see very quickly. I don't have to scroll down and see the whole detail. Right there, very quickly, I can see all of the key things that we need to do. And these are all fully tailorable, fully flexible in terms of what goes on and where that is. And if you notice, then I can move through my process, and I can go back to my propose, because that's the stage that we're actually in. And I can see what I need to do. So in my case, I've put together the 3 pieces that we need to have, and the last step in this proposed scenario is to actually present the proposal, which we're going to do in our appointment at 1 o'clock today. As I said, the real value of this is that it helps me as a salesperson understand the information I need to gather. I can see it in a very concise manner to get that done. As a sales manager, it helps build that consistency that I want to have with my sales team so that I know they're processing that. And then the third benefit that it provides too is if you're a sales organization that is looking to hire salespeople or you have sales turnover, the value to this guided process for you is very simple. You now have a consistent way of helping train your folks on how your organization wants them to sell. And the value of that is it's going to get your sales team trained faster, it's going to get them up to speed quicker, and it's going to get them indoctrinated into your sales process as a normal course of business and not trying to wait on tribal knowledge or trial and error. As I said, if you have different product lines, you can set up different sales processes based on the type of product line. So you don't just have one guided process for sales, you can have multiple. So that if you're selling to new customers, you have certain ways to do that. If you're working with existing customers and you're trying to upsell or cross-sell with those folks, or if you're trying to work on an existing customer and maintain account management, we could work with you to set up individual guided processes for each one of those. Stephen, I know you have a number of our clients that have asked us to do that in a different way, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So we're able to set up the guided process for different divisions, different products. All of that can be very dynamic or very fluid within the system. And as Mike had mentioned, it's very easy on training. It's one of those nice features in the system that goes through and says, look, I know exactly what my process is. I know exactly what I need to do to move it to the next stage. And then we're also going to show you the way that the graph will then also correspond to what stage I'm at within the guided process.
One last thing I thought while we're on this opportunity, if I wanted to take a look at the information for Alpine Ski and Board, why don't we take that real quick?
Okay.
We'll go over to the customer and actually look at the account information just real quick. And again, this goes back to those ideas of the how do I help drive my business. Again, this comes back to that improved visibility and information, so that if I look, here's my information about the account, and again, we can add a variety of different fields that are there. This can all be tailored to your own specific customer set, but you can see in one simple screen, I can see all of the information that's there. If I go to the activities function, the nice thing about that is, again, before I go to a meeting, I come to this, they call this, to a certain extent, the social board, and Stephen can talk a little bit about some of the things there. But if you noticed at the beginning, I went ahead and I tagged that email. That email now is showing up as part of the activity so that it's part of the record. If I go back through and I look at the history, if I go down 3 or 4 items, I see that there's an issue from Geneva who works in our company, and Geneva had made a note that Paul called and ordered additional product. So I now had nothing to do with that order, but I know that it's there, and when I go out to see Paul to talk to him about the new opportunity we're talking about, I now can follow up and let him know that delivery has been confirmed for October 4th. So that once again, I've got all of the information, I'm better prepared, I'm better organized to go out and help my customer in terms of that. I've got real-time access to my information. So the value, again, there is that if you can see, it's very quick, it's very easy for everyone in the organization to see what's going on.
And one of the nice features that's always been very popular with a lot of our sales teams is the social aspects, which is why we have the posts and the activities. As you're working with an account record and you're the account manager of this information, you want to see when a new opportunity is created or a new opportunity has gone through certain stages. We can actually start showing these on this wall, so these posts. Because a lot of times we'll have members that say, I like to be notified when activities are happening with my account because it's very important for me to know this information. Now they can actually go to this account record and see, look, we've got a couple new opportunities that were created. If a new case was created by a different division, you're going to see that case that was created in here right away very quickly. So it's a great way from an account management to make sure it kind of gives you that whole picture. So with the information here, all of this is going to be very tailored. We've got some account information. We have our social window here. We have some more information here. This gives you the 360 view of everything that's happening on with this account record. I've got my contacts that I'm associated with it. I can see my most recent opportunities. We scroll down a little bit, we'll have recent cases. So any issues that are happening, I will know quickly what's going on with my accounts. Great way of managing account management. We have the Bing Map integration over here, which will allow you to get directions. So if you need to go visit this account record or visit this lead or visit this contact, the Bing Maps is just a one-click. You'll click on here. It'll open up Bing Maps. You can do a direction, and you can have driving directions from your house, your office, your hotel, and you can go directly to that client. It's a great way of having this communication all on one page.
So any questions or thoughts, any comments on what we've seen so far? Does this kind of connect with you in terms of some of the things that your teams might need from an opportunity to be more productive or an opportunity to help get them to see more things or be better prepared for some of their meetings? Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, we got one question.
Okay, so one of the questions was, does the sales rep have any flexibility as to the windows, layouts, and the views? Actually, they do. So within the system, we're able to customize and tailor the look and feel. We can actually have multiple forms. They do have to be set up by administrator management. The views that we're going to be showing, so my activities, my contacts, and my view, all of that can be customized by an individual person within the team. So it's very customizable. You can create your own personal views. You can have sorted differently. You can see the data that makes sense to you, and you can actually set that as your default view.
And there are two different, as Stephen just said, there's two different ways to address this. I think that the challenge is that the company can provide basic dashboards and things that they would like everyone to look at, but as Stephen said, you do have the luxury of adjusting your dashboards and your views to help you with that.
Yep.
So if we could, let's go to the management dashboard.
Okay.
And as you notice, here's a list of some of the standard dashboards. And if we look at the sales manager's dashboard, that access to information, the value to this one is, as you notice, it's all visual. In terms of that, I obviously have my pipeline and I see my pieces there. I can see my goals. Microsoft Dynamics CRM gives you an opportunity to set goals for your team members, whether it's an outside salesperson in appointments and quota and revenue, whether it's an inside salesperson in terms of calls or customer contacts, if it's a customer service resource, the number of cases. You have a variety of things that you can set up for goals, and you can track progress against that. So one of the buzzwords that's out there today is gamifying your CRM system or turning it into a game. This goal feature is something that, again, helps everyone with that. And we see that we have a number of clients that do it at a base level as a way to help start to get their folks to have a little more contests and things along that line, where sales managers or customer service managers say the folks that solve X number of problems or get number of appointments in a week or a month, they win a spiff or an award or they get a pat on the back. All of those things are things that are easily can be set up and tracked, and as an individual sales rep, I have the luxury of being able to see those as a part of my dashboard so that I can track what goes on. And, of course, every time I get an appointment or every time I get a task that goes to that goal, that number ticks up and I see where I'm going. So if we took a look real quickly at the other thing that we'll show you is down at the bottom. And, again, these can have multiple pieces to them to see where they are, but I can actually see where our leads are coming from. As a marketing man or a sales manager, I'm always interested in understanding where our leads are coming from so that I know where things are and what's going on. And if you notice there, the second one from the bottom says, contact us from the website. Well, if I click on that, that's letting us know that I got a lead from our website. Somebody said, hey, they filled out the contact form. Why don't you go ahead and click on that real quick, Stephen? And here's all the details. And if I click on that, I now actually see the actual lead that came in. And if I click on the actual lead, I can see what the person entered and where that goes, and the lead is set up. And again, if I click to my posts, Stephen's got that call to get that taken care of. Now, why that came in as a call, I'm a little surprised, but it should come in the other way. There it goes. There's our new lead. So you can see there that in activity, the new lead came in, and it came in where it came from, the website, and what they're interested in. And if you remember back in my activities, I noticed that I had to make that phone call because it said that I had a new lead. I had to follow up on that lead. So again, I'm tracking all of this information through various ways. It used to be that you had to move back and forth between these big screens. In other ways, it's now very simple. I'm in a couple of areas to see what I need to see. I got access. I can click, and I can move forward. If we go back to the sales manager's dashboard, what I'd like to look at for a quick second is we'll take a look at the pipeline. And as a sales manager, this information or access to real information, if we go ahead and click on his pipeline, and we look at, there's all the company's open opportunities. I can sort these down by division, by individual. I can close sort them by sales day. I can do them by different groupings. I can look at them by stage. So if I look at, let's go just real quick, take a look at the qualify stage. I see I have a group of opportunities in here. Well, one of the things that I notice as a sales manager, this is something that I do at our company, is I work with our director of sales, and we go look at our opportunities, and one of the key fields we look at is what's the next contact date. And if you remember, when I was a salesperson, I was looking at that, and I said, hey, I have a couple of opportunities that don't have a next contact date in them. I need to follow up with those. Well, if I'm a sales manager, I can actually do the same thing. So if on Sunday night or Monday morning I'm looking at where things are, I can easily turn around and send a note. I can go into that K104 opportunity, and as the opportunity comes up, I can actually go in and assign an activity to my sales guy. And if you notice, I went ahead and actually added a task. It's very quick, very easy, but I just said, hey, when's our next opportunity? What's our next contact on this opportunity? And as you can see, it's fairly easy to fill in and ask the question. It takes about 30 seconds to get done. So I can actually go through, get that assigned to the individual, set when I expect them to get it done, and I can actually see that so that, again, when Stephen comes and looks at this opportunity, he sees that, hey, this has been assigned to me, and oh boy, the boss is looking at it. Again, it does three things. It helps keep the sales team focused on the things that they need to do so that these opportunities don't get away from them. Number two, it helps from a sales management perspective because I now don't have to have a whole lot of, oh my gosh, I got to wait till Thursday's sale call to ask about this. I can very easily prompt them, and it's right there in the system, and it's all tracked. And then the third thing about that is that by doing this, again, I'm starting to build that consistency in my pipeline. I'm starting to make sure that my pipeline is moving forward. Because if I've got all these things out there in the various stages and I'm going to close something on the end of September, yet the reality of life is that I haven't talked to the guy in over a month, the odds of closing that are pretty slim. And if I'm continuing to have those conversations, it sure makes things move those things forward, and I can start focusing my sales team on staying on top of their accounts. So I think that's a very valuable opportunity, and that goes to that whole issue of real-time access to information. Where are we with this? What are we missing? How do we get that done? Everyone gets to see it. Everyone understands that. And as a sales manager, I can provide my insights. Hey, I noticed in this opportunity we still haven't gotten the purchase time frame yet. We still don't know these things. I can ask those questions, and we can do it whether we're in our one-on-one meeting or whether it's just me going through and getting a general request of some information. Where this is really valuable is when you're looking at that end of the quarter, what can we close, going back through some of those accounts and talking through with your sales team about those things as a sales manager. So it makes it really nice to be able to sit down and take a look at these things and ask questions so you can help understand what information you still need to gather. Okay, Stephen, let's go to the, want to go to the marketing section? Yep. So again, if we go back to our marketing dashboard and take a look at the marketing dashboard, and if you hear something in the background, it's 12 o'clock here in Dublin, and at 12 o'clock in Dublin they have the test of the National Weather Service, so it just ended. But this is the marketing dashboard. And the marketing dashboard has ability to show you a variety of things. Microsoft Dynamics CRM has a fully featured marketing function that can help you understand, set up campaigns, do your communication as we talked about earlier. But as you notice, I have the ability to see very graphically what am I getting. I can see my campaigns by cost, how much they cost. I can look at lead source by campaign, and I can look at revenue generated. These are 4 standard dashboards that are out there that you can look at and see. We use these as part of our business, but it's also involved with marketing automation and a variety of different pieces. But the value of the marketing capability is we're actually tracking when we reach out to customers and prospects, we're tracking how they're responding and what's going on. You saw the lead came from our web form. We also have the ability to track things in terms of, as you notice, event campaigns or direct marketing templates. So we have the ability to do a variety of different things, and the marketing capabilities in the Dynamics CRM, and there's a couple of bolt-on packages that help with the marketing automation piece. Those things provide an unbelievably robust capability to help you accomplish your goals. Are we hitting on the, from the folks that are listening, are we hitting on the ideas and the concepts that you're interested in hearing about? I see we have a couple more questions. Nope? Okay, I think we're good. We've got them covered. Is there anything else that anybody's interested in from an overview perspective? Okay. How do these translate to mobile devices? Stephen, I have a dumb question. Can we bring up that mobile function fairly easy, or did you not set that up yet this morning? It's okay. You can. I know I put you on the spot, but
yeah, we can show you guys that real quick. Okay. As far as the mobile.
Tell you what we're going to do. Well, we're going to talk through it. Stephen just pause the screen for a second so he can pull it up in the background, kind of like the Wizard of Oz when they saw him behind the curtain. That's Steve's pulling up what he's got there so he can show it to you.
Yeah, as far as the mobile, you can use it on your phone. You can use it on a tablet. All of those are very functional. They do require you to have an internet access for it, so there's really not a lot of offline capabilities today, but most places you go to have the ability to have Wi-Fi or internet or things like that. So, you know, there are some third-party tools if you guys really do require that, oh, look, we have to go offline, we have to have my data on my laptop or my tablet, even though I don't have internet at that point. I'm going to hit my hotel. I'll come back. It'll sync. All of those, we do have some functionalities. We do have some tools to use. Right up here, we have the mobile. So this is what you would see on your Windows phone, your iPhone, your Android phone. All of these are compatible with this.
So let's go to appointments.
Okay. So from here, just imagine my cursor is the big thumb as I'm working through on my phone. I can go to my appointments, and on my appointments I can see, you know, look, I've got my review the quote. I can click on review the quote. I can see I've got all my information here. What's nice about this is, let's say I wanted to get a hold of Patrick or Paul. I can just click on Patrick's name. I can see, look, you know, here's his first name, here's his last name, and what's more important is his phone number. I can quickly call him from my phone. It'll dial because, you know, your smartphones will recognize it. It'll start dialing. I can then have a conversation with them. I also have my maps. Within a lot of phones these days, you can do your GPS from your phone. So you can be accessing CRM data and say, oh, look, you know, where do I need to go for this address?
Let's go back, if you would, because I want to talk about the touch detect capability.
Okay.
One of the other things that I think is very interesting today for this touch is that if you look from a mobile perspective, with the ability with many mobile phones to do the talk to text feature, you have, and it's not all of them, but many of them have that capability today. You have the ability to go into that appointment or that account and leave a note and do the talk to text. So when I finish meeting with Paul, I could actually go out and bring up the account information, press the button, and talk to the system and have it actually record my notes. So I don't have to go back and type in any notes or anything. I can actually record that. I hit my button. It automatically syncs up in the system, and everybody knows what's there. Now, as you notice, the fields in the mobile section are a little bit consolidated in there, but it's very flexible in terms of what goes on, and it has the capabilities. I can see cases. If I'm from a customer support issue and I've seen that, I want to see that. Obviously, I get my email. I get a lead. I can see all of those things. I can review my opportunities. If you want to, click on the opportunities and see where that is.
Okay. Yeah, and all of the data that's in your CRM system, you'll be able to access on your phone or your tablet. All of the data is the same data. So it's going to have real-time data, so what you're looking at is exactly what people in the inside sales would do. So if they add a quick lead or an opportunity, you're going to see that showing here.
So if you notice here in this scenario, you can see my opportunities. I've got my one that's in proposed, my 2 that were in qualify, and then those that were in develop, so that I can actually see my opportunities. I can open it. If you want to, go ahead and open the JJ202 real quick. Stalling out on you there? Oh, okay. So there we go. So here's the actual opportunity and all of the information that's there. And as you can see where that goes in terms of what happens.
Yep. So it shows some critical information. You can edit it if you need to, but you can also see the activities that are associated with these as well too. So you can see all of the activities that are related to this particular opportunity. So you have everything at the tips of your finger as you're out and about, working with sales, because a lot of sales individuals are not physically at an office. A lot of them are out on the roads. So the mobile capability with CRM is very powerful, and it can be an additional tool that can benefit and help them.
So as you can see, your sales team has a fair amount of activity, and they can interact fairly heavily with their phones in terms of where that goes and what they're doing. Does that help kind of paint a little better picture of some of the mobile activity? Ultimately, our goal is to be able to connect this through and show you what it would look like on an iPhone or an iPad. It's just for this session, we do that for some of our clients. In this session, we weren't exactly sure what people were going to want to be able to see, so we're coming back from what the Microsoft demo screen for the mobile scenario is. Okay. I guess from my end, Stephen, is there anything else that we want to show them from a basic overview section, or are we pretty comfortable at this point?
Yeah, at this point we've covered the 5 major topics that we covered earlier. So we wanted to make sure we show you the fluid and flexibility within the tool, the tracking, the ability to basically, it's the day in the life of, you do your emails, you do your appointments. We're not going to make you change from those. CRM is just another tool that adds onto it. So it's one of those nice features and tools that's going to be a benefit for your sales team. So they already know how to use the email. They already know how to use appointments. It's just an addition to give them that extra leverage. It's all tied in. Great way of accessing the data.
And one of the things that we really didn't spend a whole lot of time on, because that's another scenario, but when you look at kind of the 5 additional things, there's an awful lot of opportunity with Dynamics CRM to help put workflows and automation tools in the capability, so a lot of things can actually flow for folks in terms of what goes on. And when I look at the marketing automation, I think there's some really interesting things there in terms of if someone fills out a form, an email can automatically be sent back to them with some information. Depending on the form they filled out on the website, you could send back other information to them, or you could send an automated workflow to the sales resource to say, hey, this person was on our website and was looking at these things. You might want to reach out to them, or you might want to do this as terms of a follow-up, so that realistically there's a lot of that tracking and tie-in. And then also in the scenario that if I get to a certain level in my sales process, we could help. We've done this with a couple of our clients. We've helped them with workflows to drive it forward. A perfect example is that we have a customer that they work with their customers' employees' financial information, because they actually have the ability to support them and sell direct through the customer, and they do payroll deduction. Well, to set up a new customer would take up to 3 weeks to get done, 21 days in terms of all of the documents that needed to be approved and all that. Our team, as part of the implementation, put those steps into a workflow so that it automated that, and we could get, in most cases, they could get that approval process down from 21 down to 2 days. In a couple cases, they were able to run it through in 1, but realistically, if you think about the value of that, if I can actually get my customers, folks, able to buy almost 3 weeks faster, that's a big deal in terms of productivity and functionality. And oh, by the way, people weren't running around with papers trying to get signatures, making phone calls. The system actually prompts things through to make that happen. So that's an example of some of those productivity steps that we could do to help that. Same thing, automating contracts and automating contract approval. All of those things are things that we can talk about in a great deal of what the CRM system can help you improve your productivity, improve your operating efficiencies. So with that, I think we have just 2 quick slides. And 2 quick slides, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. Stephen, if you go back to our wonderful PowerPoint. From an organization, obviously, when you buy the CRM system, the first thing that you look at is, gee, how do we get this installed and implemented? And as an organization, we actually can help do that. That's a lot of what we do is we help sit down, and as part of the implementation, we'll meet with your team. We start off, Stephen, why don't you talk a little bit about kind of that first sessions and how those go, because the focus for us is really to help you get the system implemented and increase your adoption rate.
Sure. So what happens with myself and my team regarding the CRM implementers, we're going to work with you and your company, and our main focus is to work together. So what happens is we're going to put together a plan, an agenda, and a project plan where we're going to sit with you in the very beginning. We're going to get in a room, and we're going to actually start going through the business requirements. We're going to go through the gathering information. We'll actually go through and start tailoring, what we call tailoring, making changes to the opportunities, accounts, leads, screens that make sense, because a lot of times when you visually see what's happening, you can see, oh, I like to move this here. I'd like to see this information here. We can focus on that. So we do that for several days. We work together as a team. We have a core member of group. We focus on that. We work with that. And then from that, we continue working with you guys remotely. We have several meetings that we focus on, agendas that we have for you guys laid out. It also puts together our go-live plan. So when you decide to say, I'd love to have this live in 3 months after we start, we can definitely put that plan together to make sure we have all the system within CRM going. We have the appropriate amount of testing, go live, and then definitely a package of support that we're actually talking about on here.
One of the things that the implementation process does is it has multiple levels of training, and that training starts on the first day. It doesn't wait till the very end where your teams walk in and they get a half-day or a 2-hour training session. It's the core team is trained all along, so that you're training the trainers, you're training the key users so that they get to be very comfortable with the system early on, and they're there as part of that so that they work with your people that are just getting, they're going to be the regular users. They're the go-to people, so that as an organization you can move that forward. One of the other things that if you don't have Microsoft Dynamics CRM today, one of the things that I think is important is we talked about flexibility. But I think the key is that you have flexibility in licensing options, where with Microsoft Dynamics CRM, you can buy it online, and that is a subscription service. You can get it on-premise, so that if you are a company that wants to do some heavy integration, or you feel you want to own your assets and your management team is not comfortable with using things in the cloud today, there are organizations that are like that, this information then you could actually have it on-premise. The good news is we also have clients that start with a pilot program. They maybe have 20 or 30 users, and we set up a base system for them in the cloud. We demonstrate that it works. They're comfortable with that. They turn around then and they say, well, we want to now bring it in-house and roll it out to all of our staff. And we also want to then turn around and start doing integration with our ERP system or with some of our front-end things that are on the, our internet or our web presence, our portals, if you will, from a technical perspective. And we have a lot of our customers that are asking us, once we do the basic integration and implementation, how do we get that set up? Hey, how do we start tying this stuff together so that our teams, our sales inside and outside, our customer service people don't have to go through 5 or 6 different applications to do their job? They actually have now Outlook and CRM as one, and then can you guys integrate our business applications so that we can drive that forward in terms of where that goes? I've obviously highlighted some of our support options in terms of where that goes, and obviously this is kind of our last slide from a questions perspective. But one other question has come in: how easy is it to port data from other CRM tools? Stephen, I'll kind of let you touch to that.
So regarding importing data from one system to the other, Microsoft has a very robust data import system. So as long as we focus on, accounts, contacts, activities, all of that's really easy to do with the system. If you're going to deal with attachments, it gets to another layer of complexity. Everything we've done with many of our clients, so we're very comfortable doing data imports from one to the other. We also have the ability to write maybe some custom code to grab the data, do a little cleanup, and then put it in the correct spots. We've had to do that with clients before. So on our side, it's not very difficult. We can also train you on how to use the data import. A lot of our clients are like, I'd love to have the ability to manage this ourselves. Not a problem. We'll definitely do some training on data imports, how to use the tool. We'll also be there from a support point of view, just saying, I'm struggling with this particular import. Can you please help us out? We definitely can do that.
Okay. Did that answer your question? Thanks. Okay. If you have other questions, please don't be shy. Send James Snyder, who we've contacted, his contact information. Send James a note. You can give. I got his email and his phone number. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about Affiliated and our CRM services, we've added our website. What we will do, if this is okay with you, is I'll have James send a copy of this PowerPoint to each of you that have attended, so that way you can actually see what's there. And from a business perspective, help you just kind of a refresher. And if then you have some additional questions, please don't be shy. We're happy to help. This is really an opportunity for us to help share with you some of those things in terms of that. If you've got some suggestions for other things you'd like to see, or you'd like to see a more detailed demonstration, again, don't be shy. Let us know. We're happy to do that. Stephen is pretty good at that. And I hope that this was informative and helped you out. Other than that, if there's no other questions, thank you very much. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.